it takes really good acting to really make it come together, and two really good leads, and I feel like we had those in this.
She just saw him as a person, and that, I think that's what made him kind of drop his guard around her and find himself drawn to her, because she didn't see the prince, she saw Thomas.
I just got a call to do the hair and makeup for the royal wedding.
So why are you just a hairdresser?
Just? Truth is, I'd love nothing more than to do something else. You're out flirting with hot royalty. I'm not flirting with Prince Thomas.
Please, I don't want you to go. It's like a glass slipper.
But money.
Hello, welcome to the Cindy Show. My name is Lily.
And I'm Rosie, and today we are reviewing a special favorite of ours, the 2022 A Royal Treatment, starring Laura Moreno and Mena Massoud. This is a Netflix original about a young lady who lives in Manhattan called Izzy. She's a hairdresser, and she meets the prince kind of as like a accidental client, but they have a really rough meeting. She doesn't like him. There's kind of an incident that happens, and then he finds her at her hairdressing shop, and he apologizes for the incident, and they patch things up, and kind of as an apology to her, he invites her and two of her co-workers to the kingdom, because he's gonna get married. He's engaged, and he wants them to be the hairdressers and makeup artists for the wedding. So they go, which is great because Izzy's always wanted to travel, and she starts to get to know Prince Thomas better, and they find themselves kind of developing feelings for each other, which causes some tension because he's engaged, and eventually Izzy gets fired, and she leaves, much to Prince Thomas's disappointment. So this one's a special favorite. Some would argue that it's not a Cinderella story, which I remember when we watched it, we were like, oh, this gotta be a Cinderella story, but we weren't sure. So we ended up Googling, like, I don't even remember who Googled, but one of us was Googling a review, and from the New York Times, a New York Times article, it referred to the royal treatment as a Cinderella story.
Yep. So we were like, okay, it's official. It's Cinderella.
Yeah.
May I introduce Prince Thomas?
I'm Izzy of 183rd Street.
You could be my Sherpa guide to normal life.
A town car's trailing us. 1, 2, 3, stop! What happens if we run?
Let's find out.
Go, go!
And Izzy's full name is Isabella, so we've got the Ella part in there.
Yeah, so Izzy, at the start, she's struggling financially, and she meets the charming prince, and they do have a dancing scene together, though there isn't a ball, but they do dance together. She ends up running away from the castle. He goes after her, and then at the end they ride off on a horse together, which is kind of the modern, like, horse-drawn carriage. Also, instead of a wicked stepmother, there's like an evil mother-in-law to be. And instead of two stepsisters, there's two sidekicks, Destiny and Lola, who are her co-workers.
And they are hilarious. They are absolutely hilarious. They tag along with Izzy to the palace, and they're supposed to do the makeup and hair for the royal wedding. And their skills are tested, and they end up kind of doing these really modern makeovers for a couple staff from the castle, like dyeing their hair and like all these crazy things. And so the head lady is just mortified and ends up having to teach them how to do
a royal hair and makeup the proper way,
yes.
not the Manhattan way, the proper way.
Yes. So they get taught how to do that. Meanwhile, Izzy is out exploring and going across the train tracks to a place that they say was not a good place, but turns out it's a really wonderful place.
Yeah. So Thomas ends up spending time with her. He ends up spending just time getting to know her and be around his town. Like, there's the castle that he lives in, and then a few miles away there's the town, and he kind of gets to see his people and his kingdom in a new light. And Izzy kind of challenges him to do more. In quite a few scenes, she's like, you can do more because you're a prince, so you should be doing more. And in the same way, I also like that he challenges her, because he sees that there's so much she wants to do, but she's kind of limiting herself.
Yeah.
So he actually calls her out and says, you could do a lot more. You just got to go for it. And she does.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really liked these two together. They had really good chemistry, I feel like. And that's really what makes the movie. For if you like a good rom-com, there's got to be chemistry, or else it just kind of falls flat and the rest of the movie is not as fun to watch. So, but yeah, this is a great rom-com. We love this kind of movie.
Well,
I'm a huge fan of Hallmark movies, so this is like, I feel like it was definitely like higher budget too than your normal Hallmark movie. Definitely more money involved. The castle is it's filmed in New Zealand.
Oh wow.
Which is pretty cool. So they definitely got a lot of good setting there, and it seems like there's a lot of like color in the movie too. Like what Izzy wears is very colorful and bright, and there's, in that dancing scene where they dance together, there's lots of people dancing, and it really reminds me of the folk dances that we went to, and like how people are just having a good time and having fun, like all the ages, you know, just having fun. And so that was really cool how it showed the people that were more low income and everything, and how they were just thriving and just having a good time, even though they were more poor.
The color palette was really pretty. But even if you only have a good color palette, but you don't have good actors, a film can fall short. But yeah, their chemistry, I agree, it really worked. They got two really good actors to play the part. And Laura Moreno, she plays Kat in A Cinderella Story Christmas Wish, the 2019 movie. And I don't know if you felt the same way, but this movie, The Royal Treatment, was so much better than that movie. Not that she was bad in that movie, but it just didn't work the same for me. Where in this one, she was really lively.
She really embodied her character. She's from LA, but she changed her accent to be like a New Yorker Italian style. And I listened to a review, and someone was saying that the accent was just terrible. But we're not from New York, so we didn't really know any better. But Rosie, can you imitate that accent?
Oh yeah. So her and her mom have the same accent, and for like the past, like since this movie came out and we watched it, I've said the same line that her mom says. She says, "Stay away from trains. You know your cousin died like that." And I start talking in that just funny Manhattan accent, and it makes everyone laugh. Honestly, her accent did annoy me a couple of times, Izzy's. It was like, okay, that's too much.
One paper, please. Hot prince visit makes temperatures rise in the city. Seriously, though, what's with his hair?
Very exaggerated.
But, I don't know, her character was really sweet. Like, she wasn't afraid to call out the prince. Like, not even in one scene in the movie was she, like, in complete awe of him, like other people were. Like, her coworkers were in awe of him. She just saw him as a person. And that, I think that's what made him kind of drop his guard around her and find himself drawn to her, because she didn't see the prince, she saw Thomas.
And you're paying for everything.
I don't have my wallet.
You're annoying.
And you're refreshingly honest.
Well, and really, Izzy was really kind to everyone around her. Like, she befriended the doorkeeper, the guy at the gate, and when she runs off, she doesn't, like, wave at him or anything, and he's like, oh, like,
Yeah.
He said. So she makes friends with everybody around her.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool. And even from the very beginning, when she goes to give the prince a haircut, she sees one of the servants drop a platter or something, and she's just appalled that the prince doesn't go to help her or say, oh, it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's what just turns her off initially from the prince, because she feels like he should have stood up for her, like she would.
Yeah. And she demonstrates that care for the people around her, no matter who they were, throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like at the start, when they get to the castle, she's introduced to their personal maidservant, and she says to Walter, the head butler, introduce us. She's a person. Introduce us. And later she asks Prince Thomas, like, how many gardeners do you have? Do you know? You lived here your whole life.
Yeah.
You should know these things.
Yeah.
These are people.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, and later he follows up and tells her how many gardeners
There
there
are
are.
28 gardeners. And she's like, you know how many gardeners there are. Yeah, but she calls him out, and he adjusts himself. He changes.
Yeah.
And I think he starts, throughout the film, he begins to realize, like, there's more things that I want and different things that I want. And I don't want to marry this lady I don't know.
Yeah. And actually, I really liked the exchange between, do you remember the name of the lady he was supposed to marry? I don't know. But anyway, they have a good interaction where they both are talking to each other about how they don't think it's going to work out. It's actually on their wedding day.
Yeah.
They decided to have this conversation, but
Yeah.
their parents were really pushing them together for various reasons. And a lot of it had to do with financial stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to marry each other.
Yeah.
And they just have this talk, and he's like, I don't want to marry you. And she's like,
I don't want to marry you either. And then they hug.
Yeah. So that was really good to see them not make a big mistake.
Yeah. The mother-in-law, well, she isn't a mother-in-law yet. The future mother-in-law was terrible. She's the reason Izzy got fired, because she took a picture in kind of the market of Izzy and Thomas. She's like adjusting his hair, and then she puts it in the tabloids.
Making memories.
Yeah, just making memories. And man, okay, let's talk about that scene where she gets fired and Thomas runs to her car before she leaves, and he's like, don't leave. And she has to, and then she leaves, and a song starts playing.
Yeah, and it's called Worst Kind of Hurt,
Yeah.
and she actually sings it with somebody else. Izzy, the actress, sings it. That's such a gut-wrenching. It's like she drives away, and then she doesn't wave, like we mentioned before, she doesn't wave to the doorkeeper, and he like walks out behind the car as it drives away, and he's like, oh.
Yeah.
What? And then she starts to cry because she sees him that, you know, that she didn't wave.
Yeah, it gets you. It's a long cut filming her, and then as the music builds, she just starts crying, and you're like, oh, she loves him.
Yeah.
The worst kind of hurt, the kind that just burns, is when there's no good reason it didn't work. When you're still in love, but it's not enough.
Because before then, she wouldn't really admit that she was falling for him or developing feelings. Like even so they spend a night in the market, and that night when he walks her like back to the castle, she actually even calls him out, like, don't be giving me that look. That was the flirty look.
We're in hair camp and you're out flirting with hot royalty. I'm not flirting with Prince Thomas. You were giving me the look.
What look?
This look.
And he like gives a little defense, but he was giving her that look, and she didn't want that. She wouldn't flirt with him. She definitely treated him like a friend.
Yeah.
But before then, she hadn't admitted that she liked him until you start seeing her break in the car, and then you know, like, she loves him.
Yeah.
But she's messing stuff up, so she chooses to leave.
Yep. And then she goes home and the salon is burned down.
Yeah, things got messed up. But kind of like a true good romantic comedy, it works out in the end. And he rides up on a horse and says that he wants to spend the rest of his life with her, and then they ride off on the horse and get gelato.
Yeah. So very romantic ending. Very fairy tale like.
Yeah.
So we like this one a lot. This is very high on our list.
What were we gonna rate it, Lily?
Yes, we were gonna give this an 8.5. So we are ranking this very closely with other higher rated movies. Our highest is Ever After, right there with the 2015 Cinderella live action. So we're putting this up pretty high. We really liked this one.
Yeah, the Rodgers and Hammerstein's 1997 Cinderella, we gave an 8.5 as well. So we liked both these movies about the same.
Yeah.
They're both they're really good.
Yeah. They did a good job with this. And I think, like we were saying before, it takes really good acting to really make it come together, and two really good leads, and I feel like we had those in this. So that's what really pulled it together.
Yeah, another fun fact I found, so the royal treatment takes place in the same kind of world as A Christmas Prince, because Izzy mentions Aldovia, which is the kingdom that A Christmas Prince takes place in. So that's kind of cool. It makes me wonder, are they ever gonna do anything with that?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll make a royal treatment too.
That would be really cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let us know what Cinderella movie we should review next.
Yep. Alrighty.
All right. Catch
Bye.
you later.